Meatball George, how are you
Uh,
today?
Hello, John. How are you?
How did you enjoy the game?
Uh, it was a nail biter for quite a bit.
It was?
And I heard somebody describe it today as a blood pressure game.
Sure,
And
sure.
those were good descriptions. It was exciting. And I don't want to see that again.
Yeah, we it's the blowouts are nicer, right? It's
Yeah,
nice to be third quarter
yeah.
comes around and you're like, well, this has been fun.
I don't care if these non-fans are entertained. I just want to get the win. I want to get the Super Bowl, and then I'm complete. I'll be happy. And then next year you gotta have the exciting game. Right now, trounce them.
All right. What is so the game ended. The Bills have won the game.
Yeah.
What's your gut reaction? What did you like from what you saw today? What did you not like?
Well, what I liked again is that the Bills made smart decisions when it was needed. They had good clock management when it was needed. The one time there was not good clock management, it wasn't clock management. Do you remember it was after the 2 minute warning and Josh Allen leaped over the Kansas City guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So well, he leaped over him, but he ran out of bounds, stopping the clock.
Sure.
And so somebody asked McDermott about it, and his answer was, "Yeah, I saw it. I wish he would have stayed in bounds." But I don't want to see Josh, getting hurt. But I think he did that to get the first down and keep the ball. So, but in general, it's another game. They won another close game now. That's two close games in a row that they won. They got an interception in the end zone, in the red zone,
Yeah.
to shut down the Kansas City Chiefs, and then control the ball for the win. And they got it and were able to run out the clock and not give Kansas City that chance to win. So it was a smart win. What I didn't like is I was not as confident. I didn't think that the backup players in the defensive back positions played the way we needed them to play. I think we got some pressure on Mahomes, but he completed way too many passes, John.
Well,
Way too many third down conversions. And you can't let a team control the clock and run 14, 15 plays. Now, as it turned out, the Bills controlled the clock 31 minutes to 28 something, in that range. So the Bills did control the clock. They did go on the road. They did put up with all the noise in that stadium. And, they came away with a win.
we saw Allen a couple of times, indicating, we're going to do whatever. Kevin trouble hearing.
And then I saw that we were able to run the ball extremely well in the first half, and then they seemed to go away with it from it, John. And I'm not really sure what that was about. Did Buffalo feel that they didn't have the time to run, that they had to score? Did they feel that pressure? So I'm just questioning Ken Dorsey's. He doesn't have the experience yet of a long-term offensive coordinator, and it's a learning process.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you. Now, I will say the one thing that begs Dabo was not a guy who liked to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that he's running any less than Debo would have.
Yeah, but they brought in a line coach,
an offensive line coach to help. Yeah,
to help, and he is supposed to be a master at the offensive line and running the football. So I saw them doing it today. I saw them doing it on Sunday. They were running the ball. Singletary was just running chunks. He got 80 yards in rushing yards. He was running them in chunks, and then they just stopped.
Yeah, I hear you. That was a weird But not it's not uncommon for this team to do that. But we did think that with the new offensive coordinator, maybe that what we saw in the first half was maybe what they were looking for in the offseason, and then they did get away from it. So I know I was very curious as to how that would go this season. Dabo was not one to stick with the run, particularly in a close game. Close game, he would abandon the run very, very quickly. So we'll have to see what happens as we go forward. It is, like you said, it's a learning experience for Ken Dorsey. So we'll see what happens, what he does against Green Bay.
Yeah, and another thing that I saw that I question a little bit is, Josh was getting some pressure. They weren't rushing 5 guys, Kansas City. They were rushing 6 guys.
Hey,
Which means there's got to be people open on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Well, why would you say that, George?
Well, that means they only got 5 people to defend against the pass receivers. And you got guys like Diggs out there. You've got guys like Gabe Davis out there. You've got your slot receiver out there. You could have a running back or a tight end slipping out there. And
but what do they have? They got Gillum running around out there. He ain't no man beater. They got, that's it. Well, they got Hodgins, guy who is he's the freaking he's not the specialty. He's the practice squad captain, for Christ's sake. That's other than Diggs, that's who they got.
They got Shakir and they got the running back Cook. That's what they brought. They got Juke Johnson. We thought they'd activate him. They didn't even activate him for the game.
Man beaters in that group.
But I didn't see. My point is, I saw adjustments made, but it took 2 quarters before the Bills finally made adjustments. I didn't see them make adjustments on the fly. And that kind of bothers me. It's like when you're getting 6 guys rushing the quarterback, isn't there a section of plays over here where you look on the chart and you go, in case they do this, do this. Yeah. Isn't there a chart? Is there a chart somewhere? We do have McDermott, but he's a defensive guy. You got Leslie Frazier. He was a head coach. So even though he's a defensive guy, he's got some background. You know what I mean? And actually, he's got more than McDermott has. But they're not going to speak up on the offensive side of the ball. They left it to Dorsey, who's a rookie coordinator. And I think that should be a closed door meeting with the top coaches there and say, hey, guys, we could all talk about this. Let's get together. Yeah, and he should be utilizing experiences of guys like Leslie Frazier and talk about it before game time. And he doesn't have to get embarrassed or anything. He just give me your input. Give me your take. What are you seeing when you practice against this? Tell me what I should do.
Look, the best receiver they have is Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
And he's good against man and against zone. Who's their second best wide receiver or receiver against man coverage? I can tell you. You want me to tell you? Don Beasley.
Yeah, Don Beasley. Yeah.
Don Beasley. With those multiple options. Okay. Well.
He's sitting at home. They could call him.
George, they might.
Mm-hmm.
They might. Of course, this guy is so stubborn. He may be like, I got to make more. Since, you got to pay me double because I already missed 6 games.
I bought slippers now and everything. I'm retired.
I
got to cover the cost of my slippers and my bathrobe. Yeah.
His music career. Look, when a team has a defensive backfield, a really good defensive backfield, or when a team can put pressure on us, like a lot of teams, we have some weaknesses there.
Yeah.
The past couple of years, I've heard a lot of when Allen gets blitzed he makes you pay for it.
Mhm.
That didn't happen so much in the first half, and that's okay. Um, is some of that because Stable's not here? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but if that were the case, now it's happened. We'll see how they respond. Are they ready for it in the future? You know, in college basketball, there was an old adage: teams that press don't like to be pressed. If you're a full court pressing team, a lot of times those same guys play offense, and they're not necessarily good ball handlers, not necessarily good passers. I don't know. Is this a team that wants to press the rush the passer, but really isn't prepared to deal with it? There was a lot of questions in the preseason. We heard an awful lot, like neither of us made it to a practice, but we sure heard an awful lot of days where they talked about the defensive line outperforming the offensive line.
You know, and if you were like a team like Green Bay or New England or the Jets, or wouldn't you be sitting here after that game on Sunday going, you know, maybe we should put pressure on Josh Allen and rush these guys?
Well, they might have come out of it with some ideas. Sure. I don't know if the Bills have been exposed, right? I don't know that would be the case. Because I know in the other video I said, as long as Kansas City's got Mahomes, they got a shot. And as long as we got Allen, we got a shot. So I don't know that we've been exposed, but I sure would like to see them figure out some schemes to protect him a little better.
Well, the minute the Bills start running the ball against that pressure and get 5, 6, 7 yards on a first down or a second down, you're going to see the pressure back off.
That's supposed to be the case.
We saw Singletary do some rushes, and we're going to have to see where they continue, because we're not seeing those short passes out of Josh Allen other than to a player like Diggs. And we've been seeing him being not only a number one receiver, but by far the number one receiver. They're using him on every play almost. So we've seen that since the very first game with the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
So we're either going to have to see them start spreading the ball around a little bit, or start learning how to run against that 6-man pressure. And, you know, whether it's draw plays, whether it's screen plays, you know, and
Yeah.
I include a screen play as a run play almost. And, you know, that's when we'll see a change. That's when we'll see the pressure back off.
You know what we didn't,
because you'll get your guy on the other side of those 6 guys right away, and there's only half the field left, you know.
I think that one of the things we didn't hear, and I don't think CBS was quite ready, if you will, for all the nuances of the game. When Kansas City was putting pressure on him, one of the things we didn't hear was they weren't timing how quickly he's getting the ball out. Now, going into the Super Bowl, going into the first game of the season, there was a great deal of thought and talk about that pressure. So they were very aware that the Bills were going to have to do something. And they did. They passed the ball quickly. They got the ball out of his hands fast.
Right.
No, they didn't. The Bills weren't getting the ball out of his hands fast, per se. So we never really got the timings of, was he holding it over 3 seconds? Was it under 2? Like, well, what were how long did he hold the ball in his completions? How long did he hold, that kind of thing. We never got that. And that may not have been something the Bills were prepared to do. Mm-hmm. But that might be something they've got to keep in their pouch ready for every game, because it's going to happen again now.
Well, they got 2 weeks to get ready for the Packers.
Right.
And let's see what they come out with a game plan against the Packers.
All right. So you think we're going to see Trey White against Green Bay or no? I mean, we don't have any real insight there. Just what your gut telling you.
Well, I've been thinking that that's what they've been waiting for the whole year. We've been hearing about how Trey White is in fantastic condition, and he's been practicing right along. And I think that they will unleash him on against the Packers. I think that's a home game, if I remember right. And I think that we'll see him in the game. And even if he doesn't play the entire game, or he's just in and out, I think we'll see him getting his sea legs in that game.
Look, just a side note. In training camp, they wouldn't tell us if he was going to be ready when he was going to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't know going into 2 weeks to go, 2 weeks before the first game, we didn't know if he might start. It was after that they decided, okay, they finally announced on the last possible day they're going to put him on IR.
Yeah, I think they knew, but we didn't.
Too.
We didn't know.
But looking back at it now, there was no reason they couldn't have told us. They kept their secret because that's what they do, but it couldn't have cost them a damn thing.
No, I really think it was to force the Rams to get ready for him.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't know if that really has an effect.
I don't know either.
But teams do insist on doing stuff like that. Mm-hmm. All right. Any other gut reactions?
I really like this.
Won the game, and here we are, kind of coming down on them.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're pointing out what we see as as where there could be improvement, because everybody can improve. But the league in general, John, I don't think the league in general in 2022 ranks up to some of the past years where a number of teams are good. You remember, it wasn't just but a few years ago where you had Baltimore, Tennessee, Kansas City, Buffalo was kind of on the outside. They had a number of good teams. And now, did Buffalo improve? Yes, they did, but maybe did some of the other teams just get worse?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you like NFL in general? No, I got you.
If I had to say the 90s Bills versus this Bills, I would take Josh Allen over Kelly. But in general, I would take most of the other players over these players. Yeah. And so I
don't think that's nostalgia.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, there's some Hall of Famers in that group.
And give me Thurman Thomas, give me Andre Reed. Yes, I would want Diggs on that team. No question. I like Diggs as a number 2 to Andre Reed. That would be a hell of a team. I'd like to see Thurman Thomas back there. Look at the line. We'll put House Ballard back in there, The
offensive line, there aren't very many positions on that offensive line that I think we would take.
I know we got Von Miller, and he's good, but the Bills had Bruce Smith, who was getting 19, 20 sacks a year, So I just think the Bills have improved, but maybe there's been some drop off on the other teams. And so the Bills look like they're so much better, but I don't think they compare to some of the teams in the past years. And it doesn't have to be past decades. I just a few years ago, I think Kansas City would have still been a much better team than Buffalo.
All right. So there's been 6 games. We've got 11 more to play.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think their final record is after this 6-game sample size?
I still think that I have to pick one number, right? Then I'll pick 13 wins.
13 wins. Okay.
I really think they got a chance for 14.
Okay. Very good. All right. I don't remember what the heck I said before the season started, but if they can now be reasonably healthy, I think they got a shot at 13 as well. Mm-hmm. I would still say 12 is probably safer, but
I think that's what you said before, 12.
Yeah. They might, if they did well during times when they won when they had some injuries that could have been crippling.
Mm-hmm.
If that's behind them and we don't just got new people who start to get injured, they might have a shot. They might have a shot at 13.
Well, you got Kansas City with 2 losses now.
Right.
And I'm going to pull up, we got time. I'm going to pull up their schedule. And see what you think, because I think is this going to go through Buffalo or Kansas City? Kansas City Chiefs schedule. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right, so next week they take on the Chiefs. Next week they take on 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the Titans, the Jaguars, the
Okay, the 49ers, I think that could be a tough game, but they do have the ability to win that game, Kansas City. And certainly against the Jags and certainly against the Titans.
they play a primetime game against the Titans. Then they play the Jags at 1. So they must be in. They play the Jaguars at home at 1 o'clock Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
So they got themselves an early start there. Then they play the Chargers and the Rams, the Bengals and the Broncos.
Okay, so the Bengals, are they good enough to beat them again? Where are they playing? Cincinnati.
They are playing in Cincinnati.
So are the Bills. They play them in Cincinnati. So that's, definitely a possible game that they could lose since they lost them again. What else they got?
Texans,
Yeah.
Seahawks,
Yeah.
Broncos, Raiders.
And who? Raiders?
Yeah.
When you look at that schedule, how many more losses do you see there? They got 2 losses now. How many more do you see? 1 or 2?
San Francisco and Cincinnati.
So,
Like, they're the only teams that really have a chance, I would think.
so that would be 4 losses. If they get those 2, they would be 13-4. So the Bills got to be 13-4 because they'd have the tiebreaker.
Right?
So pull up the Bills schedule.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We got to play the Packers in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Jets and the Vikings, the Browns and the Lions, Thanksgiving Day,
Mm-hmm.
the Patriots, the Jets, Miami, Chicago, and then Cincinnati and the Patriots again. It's a tougher schedule.
I think the Bills have a tougher schedule.
They have a tougher schedule. But hold on. I think it's a tougher schedule in that there's maybe 4 teams there that I think they could lose. To me, 4
Mhm.
teams I think could find a way to beat the Bills. I don't know that any of them will per se. They're not overmatched in any of those.
And who are you calling? Packers, Vikings,
Yep.
Cincinnati?
And then I said 4, didn't I?
Yeah.
I guess I got to change that to 3. I really don't expect them to lose to the Patriots or the Jets
Mm-hmm. Or Miami in December in Buffalo.
or Miami. Yeah. In fact, I was looking at it.
The one that scares me, John, I know it's crazy, but it's Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. Detroit always seems to find a way to play well on Thanksgiving Day. The last time I remember the Bills playing Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, Detroit just crushed them. I think we had J.P. Lossman at the time as the quarterback. It goes back a ways.
Well, thank God we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I have to watch that this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's going to be a fun season. Like every week, we've got a reason to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then a reason to keep an eye on the scoreboard. See how the other teams are doing.
This is a deal where this is what happened last year. The Bills got that advantage and then ran into buzzsaws against teams like Jacksonville, and they lost. They lost that
They lost, yeah.
home field advantage, and when that happened,
They
that
ended
hurt
up
them.
in-
Yeah.
They ended up in 3rd spot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, George, you got anything else? Any other gut reactions?
No, I think it's going to be a week by week, and it's going to be a fun season. We'll see how this shakes out.
All right. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye, John.
Ball,
Bye,
George.
everybody. Go Bills.
Go Bills.